Well, it's almost graduation day for the year 2020. What did you learn in school? Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And as we approach graduation day, the end of the year, I'm reminded of a question that parents always ask their children. The question is, "So, sweetheart, what did you learn in school today?" What did we learn in the year 2020? Well, I don't know what you learned, but I'm going to go over some of the things that I learned with you right now here today. The first thing I want to talk to you about is expect the unexpected. Boy, could anybody have foreseen 12 months ago what we've gone through in the year 2020? No friggin' way. Pardon my French. Okay? So one of the things that you have to be prepared for is to make a change, to make an adjustment. And that isn't I'm not just talking about the virus. I'm talking about technology. I'm talking about relationships with people. You have to expect the unexpected, because guess what? It's going to happen. One of the sayings in business that is so true is the only thing that's constant in business is change. Does that make some sense? Things evolve, things change. Now sometimes when they evolve like they did this year, it isn't all that positive. But now we're at the end of the year, we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel with this vaccine. Let's put our hands together and pray that this is going to help us get out of this. So anyway, point for the year. One of the things we learned in school today is to expect the unexpected and to respond and not react. Leadership is everything. My goodness, if you haven't learned that this year, that leadership is everything, just take a look at the numbers. My word. We have, in the last week, and I'm filming this a couple of days before the new year, a week or so before the new year, even more than a week before the new year. The point is, we are losing people at a rate that is greater than what we lost in 9/11. You'll recall that after we had that tragedy in 9/11, we took some national action. Everybody united as the United States, the team. We didn't always like it, like going to the airport and getting strip searched, all right? But we understood the why and because. It was for our own safety. Why, if we're losing the same number of people that we lost in that one day on a daily basis, are we not taking national action? Doesn't make sense to me. Leadership is everything. We need leaders that are going to move us forward. End of conversation. History isn't cut and dry. One of the things, when we look back 30 years from now or 40 years from now, they're going to talk about the pandemic. It's going to be one paragraph in your child's history book. And it's going to say, in the year 2020, the people were burdened by a pandemic that affected the entire world. And in the United States, that has 4% of the world's population, they had 25% of the cases. That's not going to bode well for a legacy for the people that were in charge. Very, very simple. We're trying right now, or they have been trying to pass a bill to get a stimulus package going. Supposedly today is the day they're supposed to sign it. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. But history only records the end result, and it paints things in a black and white scenario. History is not like that. There's arguments, there's disagreements, there's different sides. History isn't cut and dry. everything is not simple. Everything requires people to compromise in order to achieve. Does that make sense? The difference between freedom and self-interest. We're here in the United States, and one of the things that we treasure more than anything is our freedom. That's one of the things that we treasure more than anything else. I have the freedom to do this, I have the freedom to do that, so on and so forth. However, you have to recognize that freedom comes with a cost. You have to adhere to certain rules so that everybody can maximize their individual freedom and their individual self-interest. But there are certain rules, like you can't drive 100 miles an hour, in downtown Boston. All right? That's not going to be safe for everybody. Well, it's my freedom. Why can't I do that? Because you're not the only person here. We would like to give you as much freedom as we possibly can and give you the opportunity to pursue your self-interest. However, you do not live in a vacuum, so you have to take a look at the big picture and say, sometimes I'm going to have to sacrifice in order to be able to cling to the many freedoms that I possess. Science trumps, pardon the pun, science trumps wishful thinking. We've been told right from the beginning of this crisis what was going to happen. And virtually every step along the way, it happened. Why? Because science has no prejudices and just does things just the same way as gravity. Something's always going to fall down, it's not going to fall up. What makes you think that because you want something to fall up, it's going to fall up? It's not going to happen. And our leaders have to be cognizant of reality. And sometimes you get a leader that is so focused on their own self-interest, shall we name names, that's focused on their own self-interest, that they forget why they're in that office to begin with. Does that make sense? I mean, you have a person right now, as I'm sitting here, there are major crises going on. The pandemic, the economic crisis, just to name a couple, all right? And the president is doing nothing. He's missing in action. He's on the back of a milk carton. Where the heck is he? Oh, he's focusing on maintaining his position as the president. So he's fighting for a position that he's not doing anything right now that he's supposed to do. Why would you fight for a position that you're not actively doing? Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. Science trumps wishful thinking. You can't say, hey, we're rounding the corner, we're right near the end. We're not. It's as simple as that. When you tell people that, what do? They relax. Is that the message you want to give right now? Are we in a position where we can afford to relax? We must maintain our vigilance for another few months. We're getting close. We can see light at the end of the tunnel, but it's very distant. And it's important that we maintain our vigilance, and wishful thinking is not going to carry us, is not going to be more powerful than the truth of science, because the truth is marching on, and the virus will continue to march on and on and on until we all get vaccinated. Last thing I want to talk about today is save 10%. Once again, expect the unexpected. Things like that are going to happen. And when they do, if you haven't protected yourself, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And I recognize from being in the business of encouraging people to save money that it's a difficult chore. That's why it was so easy for me and people that in the company that I worked with to go in and talk to people about saving. Why? Because everybody knows they should be saving. but they're not doing it. Let me give you a little help in that arena to help you out. Two things. The key thing is, like in any other endeavor that you're pursuing, is to get to the starting line. Here's how you get to the starting line. It is one of the things that we used to say to our clients all the time. We would say to them, can you save $30 a month? And they'd look at us and they'd say, no, our budget's pretty tight. Okay, well, let's chunk it down. Once again, the same way you do everything. Let's chunk it down. Can you set aside $1? Can you say to yourself, the first dollar that I earn today is going to be my dollar? Can you take that dollar and put it in a jar and leave it alone? Well, heck yeah, I can do that, no problem. Then you can save $30 a month. Just take $1 every day, put it in a jar. Or take the change out of your pocket at the end of the day, put it in the jar. When you do those things, you are starting to save and you're starting to build a habit. Save 10% of your money and it will compound, it will grow interest, and you'll have something for when that rainy day or that miserable virus comes to infect you. You'll be in a position where you'll be able to survive a lot longer. Learn so many more things than just those. We're going to go over those next time we get together. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.